Good evening. Today I'm actually going to make my Argentine style empanadas. It's something that I learned when I lived in Argentina. I learned from a wonderful woman, Mrs. Sandoval. And well, anyway, because of her, I know how to make empanadas really well. But like I said, I am losing weight and I need to eat healthy. So I'm actually going to make the dough a healthy dough that doesn't have any flour in it. But for the empanadas themselves, for the filling, these are the different ingredients that I'm going to have. So I have 1 small onion, I have 2 cloves of garlic, I have green olives chopped very fine because I'm not a big olive eater. I don't really like olives, but in this recipe it tastes really good. And I do have 2 hard-boiled eggs. So the seasonings that we have, I have my Himalayan pink salt, pepper, a little bit of smoked paprika, oregano, red chili flakes or red chili peppers, cumin, as we say in Spanish, comino, and then ají seco. And then this is just the brand that I used for the olives. So those are my seasonings. You basically season to your taste. It's about maybe a teaspoon and a half of salt, maybe a tablespoon of cumin, just a pinch of these, maybe 1/4 of a teaspoon. Oregano, probably a good 2 teaspoons, if not a tablespoon. Paprika is about a teaspoon. And then usually what I do is I do 1 egg per pound of ground beef. But I'm going to put a little extra egg in it, so I'm going to have 2 eggs today. So I'm going to go over here. I have my pan heating. I like to put a little bit of butter in it. And it is really hot. And so I'm going to go ahead and put in my onion and garlic. And that, ooh, that smells so good already. Okay, I gotta turn down the heat. That is hot.
Sizzle, sizzle.
Very much so. All right, and so we're gonna go ahead and get this cooking. Oops, that's fine. So we're gonna go ahead and get these softened up. Just trying to jump out of the pan. So we're gonna soften these up, get them to where they're translucent. I also like to put in my seasonings just because it makes the flavor better on the seasonings. So that's good enough for that. Comino or cumin. That's a bit much. We'll do that to start with. I'll put this over here for later. All right, and then do my ground pepper. And then some smoked paprika. I always do this and never get anything out, so that's a bit much. So we'll do about that. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and toast our, if you come over here and take a look, you can see we're just toasting the different seasonings right now. I'm not putting in the salt at the moment. We're going to just do this so that it develops the flavor and becomes a little bit more intensified. And then I'm going to add in our grass-fed, 100% grass-fed beef. So I'm going to go over here. Open up our grass-fed beef. Oh, it smells so good in here.
Uh-huh.
I love the smell. Anyway, so it is working its way. Let's see. Looks pretty good. I'm going to go ahead and add our meat now. So I'm going to go ahead and add 1 pound.
Ooh, sizzle, sizzle.
Yeah. 1 pound of 100% grass-fed beef. I actually got this at, I believe I got this at Walmart. They really have a good section now of grass-fed beef, so take a look. So I'm going to go ahead and get this cooking. And get the onion and garlic and the seasonings all incorporated. Now once this gets cooking, you're going to brown it up, and any fat that you have, you're going to get rid of the extra fat. You're going to drain it out. And then once we're done with that, we're going to fill our dough. Go ahead. We can go ahead and pause while I cook this up. Right back.
Okay, we are back.
Hi, we're back. So as you can see, the meat is getting nice and browned. We still have a few pink spots, but we'll wait on those. But it smells absolutely delicious. I'm going to taste it. I put the salt in while we were on break. I put about a teaspoon. I may adjust the seasoning in just a moment. But this meat doesn't have a lot of fat, which is fantastic. There's just a little bit in there. So that's awesome. I used a 90-10 blend just so it's a little bit more lean. But you can use whatever blend you like. If you like the 85-15, the 80-20, more fat equals more flavor. But I add the flavor with the seasonings as well as a really high grade meat. Grass-fed beef has a much better flavor profile as well as nutrient profile. All right, let me take a taste. It's good on salt. It does need a bit more oregano. I'm going to go ahead and put a little bit more oregano. It needs a little bit more pepper. And it needs a bit more of comino.
Ooh.
Yes. All right. So let me taste this and just to see if we got these flavors incorporated.
In a few seconds.
So we'll take a look, taste here. That's good, right there. All right, and as you can see, there's hardly any fat at all. If you look inside the pan, there's hardly any fat at all. So I don't even have to drain this. So all the flavors that I put in here are going to stay. They're not going to be drained out in the sink. So that is awesome. All right, so we got this nice and brown. We're going to go ahead and turn that off. And one of the things that I like to put inside when we do the filling is I like to put in Munster cheese. You can use any cheese you like, Gouda, cheddar, whatever, but this is a really nice melty cheese. It's not overpowering. Now, we're going to go over here to our dough. Now, we have here 1.5 cups of mozzarella and 3 ounces of cream cheese. Now I'm going to place this in here along with the cream cheese, and I'm going to microwave it. I'm going to put it in the microwave for 1 minute. So I'm putting it in the microwave. We're going to go for 1 minute. And then I'm going to stir it, and I'm going to put it in for 1 minute more. Once that's done, I'm going to add my other 2 ingredients over here, which is the egg and the almond flour. And I'm going to add in a little bit more of my Vitalife pink salt. And we should be good to go. Go ahead and pause for now while that does what it needs to do.
And we'll be back in a jiffy. We are back.
All right, 1 minute's gone past. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to stir it. So the cheeses are melting. So I'm going to mix it really good. And I'm going to nuke it, as we like to say in this house.
Nuke it.
Nuke it well. All right,
Nuke it.
so we're going to nuke it a little bit more for about another minute. Okay? So we're going to put it in for one more minute, and we will see you in just a moment.
We'll be back in a jiffy. Okay, we are back.
We are back. All right, so this was popping and bubbling. So I'm going to go ahead and mix it one more time. All right, so we got it in there really good and mixed. All right, now I am going to add into this mix. I don't want to put the egg right away. So I'm going to go ahead and put in my flour. It's the almond flour. It's 1.25 cups. And I'm going to go ahead and start mixing this.
It looks like slime in a way.
It does, doesn't it? Now I'm going to add my egg.
It looks like something that you could play with.
Yeah, well, we're not. We'll be playing with it in a minute when we roll it out. So now we're going to go ahead and incorporate the egg.
Make the slime.
We're incorporating the egg and the almond flour.
But that seriously does look like slime.
Yeah, okay. Go ahead and pause it.
And we'll be back in a jiffy.
So I've gotten out some parchment paper. We have our dough. Believe it or not, it turned into a nice, it's very warm dough right now. So what we're going to do is we're going to roll it out between the parchment. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and put it down there, and we're going to make it to about 1/4 inch thick, and then we're going to cut discs out of it using our bowl. So I'm going to go ahead and wash my hands real quick. And if you see over here, you see all these herbs. That is going to be our chimichurri. We're going to be using red wine vinegar. We're going to be using avocado oil, red onion, garlic, and a variety of herbs, which include perejil. What is perejil in English? Parsley. There we go. Parsley. I have cilantro. I have basil. Oh, I love the smell of basil. I have thyme and just a tiny bit of rosemary. And we're going to mix that up, chop it up really good and fine, and we're going to add in our red wine vinegar and our avocado oil. And this, we mix it all together. And then you add some salt, pepper, and some red pepper flakes, and voila, you got yourself a good meal. So, now I'm going to go ahead and cover this up. I didn't add the salt. I think the cheese will make it salty enough. So I'm going to go ahead. You can use a wine bottle or any kind of a bottle to do this as well. So I'm going to go ahead and we are going to try to get this to about 1/4 inch in diameter. So you can see what we have so far, or in thickness. And then whatever dough you have left over after you make your initial see?
Ooh.
So now we just go this way. Make it about 1/4 inch thick. All right. All right. So I'm going to take this off for right now. I'm going to come get a bowl. You don't want to have them too big. Let's see here. That'll be a little, we'll try this. All right, so I'm going to use my handy dandy bowl. Oops, that won't work. So I'm going to use my handy dandy bowl. I'm going to come over here and I'm going to cut out my first. Okay, so we have our first one. I'm going to go ahead and put them over here. Okay, and then I'm going to go for the next one. And whatever's left over, you can go ahead and ball it right back up and do the same thing over again. Okay, so as I keep doing this, we'll be right back. All right, so if you take a look, we were able to get 9 discs. I'm sorry about the last one, but he kept sticking to stuff, so he's kind of weird. But it's okay. You always got a weird one in the family. All right, so now I'm going to put in my boiled egg and my green olives into the meat mixture. I'm going to go ahead and mix this up.
Starting.
I have the oven preheated to 425. These are going to cook for approximately 12 minutes. So I'm going to go ahead over here. Go ahead and get this out of the way. Wash my hands. Right. So now we're going to take our dough, our wonderful healthy dough. We're going to take a small piece of cheese. I like to put it in there. You're going to put it on here. See, I like to, let's see if it, I'm going to see if it holds. I'm going to put about, I would say probably about that much. I'm going to go through and I'm going to close it up gently because this is a very delicate dough. Now, oh yeah, I already broke it. So this is a very delicate dough. You have to be very, very careful. But once it's together, okay, on this one, normally what I do is I like to fold like this, but because this is a delicate dough, I don't think I'm going to be able to do my normal. Well, it actually kind of came out. All right, so we have one. It's got a hole in him, but we have one. I'll try to close them up a little bit. So there's our first one. I'm going to go to our next one. I'm going to go ahead and put this in, and I'm going to continue this process, and we'll be back. All right, the first few came out real good. The last 4, not so well, but we'll see how it tastes. So we're going to go ahead and put it in the oven for about 12 minutes. Oh shoot, I just turned it off. Clear. Okay. 12, 14, 15. All right, so we're good to go. All right, so let's come over here. Now I'm going to make chimichurri. So my person, if she could come over here, my camera person. Move it, camera person. Hurry up, camera person. All right, so I'm going to grab all of my, whoops, I just lost a few. Let's see here. Go ahead and wash this off. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start chopping all of these wonderful herbs. I like to use my food processor, my little chopper, but just so that you can see it can be done without the chopper. I am just dropping everything everywhere. All right, come back in here. Fly, be free. So then I'm going to go ahead and roll this up. All right, and I'm going to start chopping. And what I'm doing is I'm going to get as fine of a chop as I can on all of these herbs. And this is going to make a wonderful, flavorful, herby, herbalicious, if you want to call it that, sauce. And it's called chimichurri sauce. It's a very famous Argentinian sauce. Now this is my own take on it. There are a lot of different ways of making chimichurri. This is the way I like to do it. Since it's summertime, I have all these fresh herbs growing in my garden. And so I am taking advantage of all of them. These all came from the garden. So I'm going to go ahead and get this chopped and we're going to put it in a bowl. We'll be right back.
Oh, there we go. Okay.
Be careful.
Woo.
All right, so we're back.
A little.
I've got all my herbs. Remember all the big pile of herbs I have? They're all nice and chopped, nice and fine. I actually enjoy using a knife, just so you know. I don't know why. I mean, I could use, you know, the machinery and things like that. It would go faster, but I don't know. There's just some kind of satisfaction when you get it this fine. Can you see it real close? And see how fine it is? All right, so now I'm going to add in my red onion. I put maybe two big giant slices, and my 2 garlic cloves. Okay, I'm going to put in about, we'll start with, I'd say it's about a teaspoon. Okay, I'm going to add some fresh ground black pepper. I'm going to add some red pepper flakes. And now I'm going to add, let me see here, let me grab, okay. So I'm going to add just enough of the oil to moisten. And then I add a little bit of water, believe it or not. But for right now, you're just doing this so that you moisten it up. And then I actually like to use a little bit of lime juice or lemon juice as well. So we've got this mixing up. Okay, so see the consistency of how much oil we have in here. Now I'm going to add some red wine vinegar. Probably, maybe, I don't want to go too much. So we'll go in there and see how it is. I'm going to taste it and see what's needed. Okay. Needs the lime juice. So, I'm going to go over here. Where's my lime? No lime. Where are you? Here's my lime. All right, so I got my lime. The empanadas are ready. Let's see how they look. They look fabulous. So I'm going to go ahead and take the empanadas out. So just look at the really pretty ones. Even in the kitchen, you have errors. And I had some errors on the last few. I think I either made them too too thin, or they dried out on me. So let's go over here. We're gonna finish up our chimichurri. I'm just gonna do a quick squeeze of some lime into the chimichurri. And that'll give it that zestiness that you need. All right. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna mix this up. And chimichurri is always best if it's left for a little bit to really get those flavors to marry. So this is my chimichurri. Oh. That is good. So I'm just gonna add just a tiny bit more salt. And I'm gonna add just a little bit of water. And then you taste for, and it's perfection. So this is chimichurri. These are healthy empanadas. I'm going to go ahead and take one off so we can see what it looks like. So let me go ahead and grab. And since my daughter is vegetarian, she won't be eating one. But I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to cut it open. And you can see we have our empanadas. And I'm going to try. Ooh, I got to get some chimichurri. So I'm going to grab my chimichurri. I'm going to put it over this and I'm going to have a bite. So, bon appetit. You have to try these. They're delicious. And hopefully you can give me some suggestions, some ideas. If you like this recipe, please let me know and give me some suggestions of things you'd like me to cook in the future. Have a good night.
Make sure to like and subscribe. Bye.